Today I thought I would share with you these 7 different levels of minimalism, what your home and life look like at each stage, and what the mindsets and daily habits are in each one of them. Whether you are just trying to tidy up a little bit or you have been a minimalist before minimalism was even a thing, knowing where you currently stand on these levels can help you figure out what are the next steps that you could take if you want to simplify your life even more. And by the way, these levels are just something fun I came up with, and they are based on my own perceptions and experiences with minimalism, so don't take them too seriously. There's no official rule book for minimalism. Maybe you feel the best at level 2, or maybe you feel great at level 5. The goal isn't to reach level 7 because I'm telling you it's pretty extreme, but rather to find out what is the level for you where you feel actually happy and fulfilled. Let's dive in. The level 1 is chaotic clutter. This is kind of like the opposite of minimalism. Your whole life is dominated by clutter and possessions. This amount of clutter is affecting you mentally a lot. There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of stress, but I would say the reason why you are in this spot is not because of the trash or because of the clutter. That came after. So probably behind this, I would say more often than not, there's some other problems in your life, and your home is just a reflection of these problems. I remember seeing some TV programs many years ago where they were like showcasing these people and their homes and how they ended up in these situations, and then there was like a group of experts trying to help them to get out of the situation. And they had there so much stuff, these old magazines and junk mail and all that they couldn't find anything in their home anymore. It wasn't anymore a living space. Everything was like a storage space. The closets were overflowing of clothes that were not worn in years, and there were even some boxes or like gift packages that had never been opened even after multiple years. So somebody who is on this level 1, the mindset can be either more is better, or then I don't care about my home at all. So maybe there are some bigger issues in life and there's just no capacity to take care of that anymore. And then if we look at the level 1 beyond your home, then for example, social life, it's probably full of these toxic people and not a lot of meaningful connections there. Your email is full of junk emails and your phone is constantly ringing, or there's some notifications coming in. You don't have a lot of control in life, basically anywhere. Okay, let's go to the level 2, and that is organized clutter. I would say most people in the Western society belongs in this group. And here I was as well, like this was my starting point 8 years ago when I was just starting out minimalism. So I never was in the level 1, like my situation wasn't that bad. So here your living space is full of stuff, but you have tried to organize them in some way. So it's not like a complete mess. There are places that they are organized nicely, but there's still like a lot of stuff. You might, for example, have so many books and DVDs and CDs and all this type of stuff that are nicely arranged, but you never touch them. The mindset here is that I might need this one day. So I guess we could say that on this level, you have a partial awareness that your stuff and how you deal with them has some effect on your mental well-being, but you are not ready to take the step to declutter anything. You just want to organize them, but leave it at that. There's a lot of attachment and emotional connections to these items. So even though somebody on this level might do these regular cleaning sessions and tidying up sessions, if you don't address the root issue so that you are just buying more stuff all the time and not get rid of anything, the situation will not really change. The time management on this level 2 could probably look like an organized schedule, that you put in there things, you know what is happening and which time, but there's just so many of them, so many commitments and responsibilities, and you don't have much boundaries. You're still saying yes to everything, and that is making you feel overwhelmed. You might have quite little time for rest, self-care, and any meaningful pursuit in your life. Let's get to level 3, conscious consumer. I feel like little by little, this is becoming more the standard for younger generations, at least in Europe. So even though there's still considerable amount of things, you are trying to be more intentional and conscious of your own choices. So you begin to develop this awareness around where your money is actually going. And Maybe the mindset here is quality over quantity. You are not anymore always buying everything new. You're starting to do some thrifting, second-hand shopping, starting to get books from the library instead of always buying new ones. And you no longer feel the constant pull of consumerism and that you need to buy more and get more. You stop these impulse purchases and you start to focus more on needs rather than wants. Not like completely make this change, but little by little you start to have more awareness around this. And I think at this level you start to do this little trial and error decluttering sessions. So maybe you get rid of the most obvious things, that if you have something that is broken or something that is completely junk or you have duplicates, you start to let go of those things, but you still don't maybe go really deep into the decluttering process. I think an important part of this level is that you start to pay more attention to the mental input. So you start to set boundaries, for example, on social media use. You unsubscribe from some newsletters that don't anymore interest you at all, and then maybe delete some apps that you haven't used in a long time. Level 4, active simplifying. Now we are getting to really like a minimalist lifestyle already. And for me, it took a few years to get to this level. It's not so straightforward that you can jump from level 1 to level 4 so quick. It's really a gradual process. At this level, you are actively engaging in decluttering. You are removing a lot of stuff from your life that you know that are not bringing value anymore to you, and are keeping those that really have a purpose and meaning in your life. You're really motivated to make a change, and the goal is to simplify your life physically and mentally. You ask yourself often, does this serve a purpose? That's the mindset. And then because of that question, because you are asking that a lot, you make these changes and you are starting to see the benefits of letting go of excess. And I would say at this point, minimalism is extending beyond just physical space. You're really starting to think about your commitments, your schedules, your goals, your values, your habits, routines, all things that are related to your lifestyle. So you might reduce social obligations. You realize this thing, I don't really care about that anymore, so why would I go there? Why would I spend my time doing that? You might take digital minimalism really seriously. You focus on reducing screen time, unsubscribe from basically all newsletters except the ones that you actually read, and then you clean up all your devices. You start some self-care habits and, for example, a morning routine, and focus on not being so busy all the time. For me, this was a level where I felt like I was actually simplifying my life a lot, and it had a huge impact on my mental health, mental well-being. It improved so much. Level 5, intentional living. This is where life starts to feel really light and you have this sense of freedom. I would say this is where I am currently in my life, at least for the most part. At this point, the main decluttering is done. You don't need to do or put so much effort every week or every month to declutter your spaces. Minimalism is already a way of life. The mindset here could be less is more, and you have started to make this shift, and you don't anymore value so much possessions and all that comes with it, but more relationships and experiences and well-being, all these things that you know will actually bring you so much more happiness and fulfillment than things ever could. You have a clear understanding of your own values and you are living aligned with those. So you have this value-based life. And I would say a couple of interesting characteristics at this point or at this level are, for example, the sustainability part. That at this point, minimalism is extending to not just give you a sense of like a good feeling and reduce that mental clutter or physical clutter, but you see it's something that is more like a responsibility, and you start to understand the broader impact your own choices and minimalism can have for other people and for the society, for the planet. And then your social circles may become smaller, but they are becoming way more meaningful. You understand that not everybody needs to like you and your choices. So I guess we could say that you have this confidence for yourself and for your lifestyle. If you think you're currently at levels 1 to 3 and you would like to maybe simplify your life even more, I suggest to check out my online course, Simple Life Blueprint. There you will get a lot of practical guidance and this step-by-step framework to create a more intentional and meaningful life. My offer from last video is still valid, so with the code MINIMAL20, the first 15 people will get 20% off and a 30-minute call with me where we can discuss your progress or goals or anything when it comes to minimalism or whatever you want basically. Level 6, extreme minimalism. At this point, you only own a small number of possessions and basically everything is reduced to the absolute essentials. Only the most vital and meaningful items remain. So the mindset is, I only need what serves me now. A person on this level really focuses basically on the utility and wants to be freedom of possessions. There's not anymore any attachment to anything basically that you own. You might only own a few pieces of clothing, have basically no furniture at all or very little, and some people who enjoy this lifestyle may move to tiny houses or even in a cabin in the middle of nowhere to get away from busy cities and get that mental peace. I think many artists have lived this type of lifestyle so that they can fully focus on their work without any distractions. So you have a lot of habits and routines that are centered to get this peace of mind and focus on something that is bigger than you, whether it's your work or writing a book or simply connecting with nature. The social obligations are pretty minimal. You don't have a lot of people around you, and maybe you even like the solitude. You really want to spend that time alone so that you can focus on what is important to you right now. So the time, energy and focus are freed from all this different stuff to just deep reflection, personal growth and these purpose-driven activities. Level 7, ascetic minimalism. At this point, your life resembles really a monk's life. You don't have almost any possessions, and those that you have are purely functional. The mindset could be possessions are a burden. You're really unattached to the material world. You're possibly living with no furniture at all. You might have just bed. You're living with very simple foods and your routines are extremely simple and maybe even the same every single day. Nearly all digital life is eliminated. There's no phones, no computers, no TVs, nothing. I think most of the people who have lifestyles like this are living in monasteries and their lives are dedicated to something spiritual or religious. So therefore the connection to the outside world is extremely minimal or even inexistent. You may be completely alone or with a small group of people in some remote place. For example, having a retreat. I think that that's something that could be on this level 7 and maybe something that I want to even try one day. I like the constant mindfulness part of this. I think that that is healthy, but this is like so extreme that this is not my goal. I'm not trying to get to this level 7 and neither should you if you don't think that this is something that you actually want. Having maybe a week like this, having some retreat experience, probably nice, but don't think that this is the ultimate goal of minimalism. So what do you think? Which level are you at right now? Let me know in the comment section below. The link to the Simple Life Blueprint is in the description. Remember to use the code. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one. Ciao.